All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another segment in the Bossy Cafe. So, once again, we're following up on the whole non-trade indictment that exonerated Uno B's name and cleared his name, letting everybody know real niggas stand up, bitch niggas sit down, and other niggas do shit when other niggas ain't around. But now, check it out. We got Uno on the line today. We about to tap into this Frank White paperwork. So, for the record, first and foremost, Uno, you want to give a quick shout out to everybody, say your love?
Nah, man, just, straight up and down, man. Salute. Salute to the real, man.
Yo, gangster.
It's business. It's business.
I bet. So, for the record, man, as I'm about to start going through this paperwork, what exactly am I looking for? What exactly would you like to say about what I'm gonna see?
Well, this whole situation is this. You know what I'm saying? I keep hearing, first I heard, niggas said I told. That's off the table. Niggas said I cooperated. That's not true. So my plea agreement is there. My statement of reason is there. The factual basis is there. My sentencing transcripts, you'll have it probably by tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So now, then the news story was when I pled guilty, I made my co-defendants look bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case either. So what you're reading right now is the sentencing transcripts of my co-defendants. My co-defendants chose to go to trial. That was their choice. That was their right. I felt that was a terrible decision for me. So I didn't go out the back door. Both my co-defendants knew I was pleading guilty. This was already established. This wasn't no sneaky, nobody knows type shit. This was established. So in their transcripts, what you're reading right now, what you're about to read, I don't understand, my co-defendant, his lawyer, started to incriminate me. You know what I'm saying? To basically try to get a sentencing disparity. His lawyer started to argue that, Uno B and Frank White was the same. They were the same in this. They were the same in that. Uno B did this, and my client did this, and Uno B did this, and Uno B did that, and my client should get the same sentence as Uno B. And I didn't really understand why that was allowed. I had nothing to do with their trial. I never wrote no statement. I never got on the stand. I never testified. I had nothing to do with your trial, so why is my name being mentioned so much, with so much validity during your sentence? Why is your lawyer in this courtroom talking about drugs and drug trafficking and me and my ex-wife and what the fuck is that? But this is something you would have to read for yourself. You know what I mean? So this is what I want you to read for yourself. And you tell me what you think.
And now this will be found where? This will be found naturally in his minutes. But what was that? Like, what part of the trial was that exactly? The closing statements.
This is not the trial at all. This is the sentencing minutes. This is the sentencing.
All right, copy. So this is when he's being sentenced.
It should be on page 120 if I'm not mistaken, bro.
All right, cool, perfect. All right, so we're gonna get into it. All right, so now check it. We're gonna get in. So we're gonna get to this first page here. All right, so here we go. First place we're gonna start is on page 120, line 24. Mr. Joseph. But we heard the majority of the media coverage and everything had to deal with the quote-unquote godfathers, James Baxton, Omari Rosero, and Pedro Gutierrez. And we had testimony during the trial. And what we saw in all the paperwork that we had, that we looked at and reviewed during the trial, Omari Rosero, James Baxton were in the same exact position. There's nothing that you can say differently about Omari Rosero that doesn't apply to James Baxton, good or bad. In fact, the evidence that Omari Rosero was involved in selling drugs, and we know this, it was evidence that was part of this case. Not only the agents who testified, who had the chart with James Baxton and Omari Rosero, but also his wife, Portia Rosero, was also involved in selling drugs too. So, and she was a part of this case. And for whatever reason, not only was she made a plea offer in this case, ultimately she was sentenced to 87 months. And so the things that were holding James Baxton responsible for, Omari Rosero has not been held responsible for, and they are in the exact same situation, according to the government. And so I don't know how that is fair. How's that equitable? And Your Honor, I just think that's not justice. The court. Well, Mr. Joseph, I would argue with the court. These are guidelines. The sentences are guideline sentences. I don't see how you say they are not consistent. The sentences are different because of specific things that the Sentencing Commission says you need to consider. Acceptance of responsibility is one. So that's a big swing there. But I don't, Mr. Joseph, the court, I don't see how you say that these are the same defendants when the guidelines have certainly drove the other sentence. And the court has to calculate them today and find out the guidelines are substantially higher than the standard statutory maximum. They are the same defendants. According to the government's role, as far as their role in this case, they are considered as they met with high-ranking officials. Some heard about the Godfathers. They are the same. They have the same role in Trey, and that's from the standpoint. Now, certainly I can't. The court. I don't recall that testimony, but I mean, I'll let Mr. Hess address it. That Omari Rosero and James Baxton are not the same. That they don't hold the same titles. I mean, that's all this case was about. It was Uno B, Omari Rosero, however you want to call them. It was those three that we heard from every single witness, and so forth, so on, Your Honor. The court, we're here from the United States. Okay, if I can just finish, please, Your Honor. Certainly, I know the court can't do anything about who is offered what. Okay, but the court can make the sentence more equitable. Then how it is fair if he gets 87 months, if that sends a message, and then somebody in the same situation gets 20 years. That's not justice. And so I would just ask the court, Your Honor, can they fix that and vary from the guideline range? And even if you wanted to include the 3 level that he got off for acceptance of responsibility, well, that takes you about 10 years. So we would contend that would be more of an appropriate and fair sentence based on the situation, based upon what Omari Rosero got, and based upon what these other people, the court. Well, it's funny that if you're using the guidelines, then you say the change in guidelines takes off 10 years. It's still 240 months because that's what the statutory max is. But right now, he's 360 to life. 360 to life. But that says he can't receive that sentence because of other statutory maximum. That is the guideline range, 360 months to life. Mr. Joseph, Your Honor, is not bound by the guideline range. The court, no. But what I'm saying is, if you were to say, just as you said, take off 3 points for acceptance of responsibility for Mr. Baxton, that brings him down 10 years. He's still at 240 months. He's still at the statutory maximum. No, I said if Your Honor wants to take into account that he wouldn't get acceptance of responsibility, when you fashion a sentence, that would be more equatable in what? In terms of what Omari Rosero got. That's what I'm arguing. I'm not saying that the court can take off 3 level for acceptance of responsibility according to where he falls currently in the guideline range. Well, I want court staff handing me a note that said Mr. Rosero's guideline range was offense level of 20. was an offense level of 20. Criminal history category 5. So he has a big difference there in criminal history category. Because the government, for whatever reason, didn't hold him responsible for the same drug amount that they're trying to put on him. No, I'm talking about criminal history category. This is one big difference there that is purely, he's a 5, yeah, and he's a 6. So I guess that's when they're arguing in comparison to the sentence between you and them and their criminal history levels. So now 25.
Hey, Jazzo.
Yo.
What's being done right now, right? Stay right where you at. What's being done right now is this, right? You got something in the feds called sentence disparity, which says that if you got two defendants and they are considered the same people, they played the same role in the conspiracy, and their criminal histories are the same, they should receive the same type of sentence, right?
Right.
Now, this is what Frank's lawyer was attempting to do. Now, what I find strange is this. Frank's maximum was 20 years. They was trying to enhance that 20 years to 360 months to life because they were alleging that he was into different things, which would increase his sentence. So now his lawyer comes in there and says that I was involved in these things with him. I did the same thing. Me and my wife did the same thing, which is not true. But you're going to see that. You see that in my factual basis. You see that in my plea. You see that in my statement of reason. You're going to see that in my sentencing transcripts. They never charged me with any drugs. I was never even affiliated with anybody dealing any drugs. You know what I'm saying to you?
Oh, my, copy.
His lawyer coming in there and, Uno do this, and Uno be that, and a Muddy will zero this, and a Muddy will zero that. Like, what the fuck is that about? What do I have to do with your sentence? Because all this, when I pled guilty, I made him look bad. Meanwhile, it seems that his lawyer is in this courtroom talking about me and him is the same. Talking about a Muddy will zero, a Muddy will zero, a Muddy will zero, a Muddy will zero what? I never testified. I never wrote a statement. Why is your lawyer in this courtroom incriminating the fuck out of me, B? Why is your lawyer using me as a stepping stone to try to get you a lower sentence? And you're going to continue to read.
Get out of there.
You're going to see he's been bad now. My question is why? If I'm this big time rat, if I fucking ratted, lying motherfuckers, if I fucking ratted, if my guilty plea made you look bad, then why is your lawyer in here comparing us? Going bananas with it, and you're going to continue to read. You're going to see the judge is telling them, hold up, their criminal histories are different. I don't even remember that testimony.
Yo, all y'all niggas was... No, go ahead.
You're going to see the feds saying the same thing, like, so what are you talking about? Why do you keep, the feds are going to say that to Frank's lawyer, he's going to say that to Goo's lawyer. Why do y'all keep mentioning Omari Rosero? Omari Rosero did this. Omari Rosero did this with us. All of us look the same. Omari, what the fuck? Omari Rosero didn't go to trial with you, man. I pled guilty. I got a 3-level reduction for acceptance of responsibility. When you accept responsibility, when you plead guilty, they reduce your level 3 levels. Right. That should take off like 10 years when you plead guilty. All of them do that. You already know that. So I'm the transcripts you reading this because I'm sitting back and trying to figure out like, oh, how the fuck am I a rat? How the fuck am I a fucking sucker? When you niggas in the courtroom and got your lawyers incriminating me, B. You're gonna see my sentencing transcripts. Ain't no drugs. They never charged me with no drugs. They never charged me with no affiliation with nobody with no drugs. Why is your lawyer in here talking about me and my ex-wife with selling fucking drugs? And you're gonna read that. This is their sentencing transcripts. You're gonna see niggas sat back and let their lawyer do that. And why? Why did they let their lawyer do that? Because they was trying to get a lesser sentence. They're trying to get 87 months. But legally, that's impossible. I got 87 months because I pled guilty. I accepted responsibility. UNOB, big homie, me, guilty. I'm out of here. You chose to go to trial, which is your right. But now that you lost, unfortunately, now your lawyer, you in the courtroom with your lawyer, talking about, yo, we need to get the same sentence as UNOB, because UNOB did the same thing we did. And UNOB, and UNOB, and UNOB. UNOB what? This is what I'm saying to you, Jazzo. UNOB what?
Right.
Why is my name in this courtroom? You continue to read it, you see it. That's my question.
That's how it's doing right now, actually.
I don't like that shit, man. UNOB this, UNOB that, UNOB this, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. How the fuck is your lawyer up in here throwing my name, trying to make us the same people? Because if we were the same people, you would play guilty with me. We would be going through this sucker shit. But you chose not to because you felt you was not guilty, and that's your right. I'm not condemning that brother. The brother felt he was not guilty, go to trial, bro. Do what you gotta do. Me? I'm not going to trial. I'm pleading guilty.
Right.
I'm admitting to who they say I am. I'm admitting to that. Yeah, that's me. No statements, no nothing. That's me. That's who you say I am. That's me. And I'm out of here. You chose to go another route. That's your choice. But don't blow trial and get in the courtroom and now incriminate me and have your lawyer incriminate me because your lawyer ain't doing nothing you don't want him to do. It's not playing no fucking games. They lose. Now it's time for you to get sentenced, and now it's UNOB this, UNOB that, all crazy. Nah, my nigga. Nah, don't do it like that. Because next thing you know, my name is being slandered. UNOB that is, UNOB this, UNOB that. UNOB what, man? Don't do it like that. This is why I'm going to the paperwork, Jazzo. Because all I hear is fucking talk. All I hear is speculation. And we niggas don't do that, man. So now we're going to go to the paperwork. We're going to go to the transcripts. Because if UNOB is this sucker nigga who went out the back door, why are you in this courtroom comparing yourself to this nigga? What's going on in here? Why is UNOB's name being mentioned so fucking much at your sentencing hearing? UNOB ain't write no statements. UNOB ain't testifying no trials. Why all of a sudden you want to be like UNOB? That's what I'm saying, Jazzo. It's right there, man. All you gotta do is read it to the people, man.
That's a fact.
And then ask yourself why.